And also confidence. Because if you're just like, I just stepped on water. So if you come on stage and you just like, you just say your line, fine line was like applesauce, be like applesauce. Oh, pineapple. Slowly walking up stage. Then if you lose your confidence, then the audience starts to feel nervous for you, and they won't laugh because they're too afraid of, oh god, this is painful. Like we've all seen those, like if we've all been to a masquerade skits, some of them they get on stage, and you instantly feel unnerved, and you're rocking back in your seat, and you can't really laugh. You just hope they get through it, like without crying or something like that, or just running off stage. As long as you're confident, nothing can faze you. I mean, as long as you're not afraid of like, you know, they're gonna laugh at me. If you're doing a comedy skit, you want them to laugh at you. You really do. If you're doing a serious skit, it's a little more of an issue, but if they laugh at you, it isn't the end of the world, because you're still being entertaining in some way. Okay, and my fun fact for this panel was that Severus Snape was on the Canadian $5 bill. Obviously, I can't show that, but I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the slideshow up, but I thought I'd take now to answer any questions, because that's probably going to be the most interesting thing.
With the blood you used in the serious one, was it dry blood or the runny stuff?
It was a really thick liquid blood. We actually got 3 different types. There were little capsules that you put in your mouth. Then there was the really runny kind, and then there was I'd almost want to say it was like blood gel.
Which one did you eat and then you threw up?
It was the blood capsules that
Don't
was
get
supposed
that.
to go in your mouth, but I am allergic to it.
Yeah.
So I got sick the next day.
I hate fake bloods.
A lot of your stuff is spontaneous, but do you ever scout locations and then just track with costumes and do something?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we do for CMVs usually is we'll plan out the locations that we want to use beforehand, and then we'll get there and make sure, you know, no one's there. And
Somebody doesn't own it.
Yeah. Well, we always go for public places. It's always good to know where you're going to film before you go there.
And also so you don't sort of like overestimate your area that you're working with, because sometimes you may have like awesome ideas like, and then Naruto jumps from this pillar to this pillar and they all fall down and crumble, and then you go there, you're so stoked to do it, and then you realize that A, there are no pillars, and B, you cannot make anything fall down. So then you have to sort of rework everything. So it's almost better to go with lower expectations of an area. I'm having a real issue right now. Lower expectations of an area than higher ones.
Has anyone done any skits or CMVs? Yeah. What did you guys do?
One of the recent ones my group's done is we made the Curious Studio opening, like it's directed, but we made it our own as well by adding our own scenes in. So we followed the exact opening and recreated it in cosplay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything like that.
How did you find that went? Like, were there any problems?
Well, we scouted locations before, but we had problems like because it was a really busy day, and also the costumes were really heavy, so we had problems like with heat as well. So it wasn't too bad recommending, but we had like public, and the best bit about it was some people took photos of us while I was doing it as well, because they were finding it so funny. We just stood there in costume, pulling funny faces and filming.
Yeah. No matter what, there's probably going to be at least a couple people around where you're filming. So no, I think unless unless you're filming your own house. But I'm pretty sure every public area that we've gone to, there's been people around. You just kind of have to work with camera angles.
Or work with them and ask them to be part of the skit. We borrowed a guy's dogs. So, I mean, most of the time, a lot of people ask me about confidence when it comes to doing stuff in public. Because, you know, that can be hard. Like, you know, you're in cosplay, you're like kind of standing out. And the issue with it is, especially when you're in a public place, these people don't know who you are, because you're in disguise. You are in disguise. And secondly, you'll probably never see them again. So you just gotta keep that in mind and know that, you know, unless you see somebody you know, who will probably not recognize you anyway, it doesn't really matter, because, I mean, you'll never have to It'll be like, so remember that time you were in costume? That was totally weird. You just, and even if they do say it and you don't want to own up to it, just deny it. Just be like, no, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? I mean, I've done that on several occasions. I mean, when I was, because now I'm just open about my cosplay everywhere, but before that, somebody's just like, so I think I saw you on the internet in a video. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And they were like, no, it's definitely you. I was like, no, dude, it wasn't. And then trying to make them feel awkward, then they back off.
Do you think there's a limit to how weird you can go in terms of, like, if you're parodying something or referencing it, like things can get a little bit odd? Do you think there's a limit to how, like, not necessarily adult, but how far you can kind of push the limits of acceptability? Do you think it's a good idea to limit your audience that way?
There is always a danger of alienating your audience, especially if you want to get into like the things that we stay away from obviously are like racial jokes or just generally anything that's not PC generally. I mean, sometimes you have to cross that line just a little bit, but you don't want to make jokes, because there are jokes within your group of friends that are sort of understood are not meant to be offensive, but then when you say them to the outside friends you have, they'll just be like, what's wrong with you? I do see a lot of skits that deal with rape as a funny issue, and to me personally, that's not acceptable, because I mean, I know it's totally harmless, but again, that's an issue that, I mean, people really shouldn't be taking it too lightly or laughing at it, in my opinion. Same with, I mean, if you're gonna brutally murder somebody and it's supposed to be like a comedy skit, just in the middle of a comedy skit, you brutally murder someone, I mean, that can get a little disturbing, and then everyone's sort of like worried about where the skit's going afterwards. However, in the anime community, I haven't really seen a whole lot of stuff that's sort of just like frowned upon. Did you have anything specific in mind?
Well, I was kind of thinking, because I do a little series on YouTube, and I get a lot of criticism for it being too weird, and I think that maybe I do things that are a little bit, they're not like offensive, they're weird, like in an offensive way, they're just completely off the wall, and like I wonder if that's kind of like, maybe you can be too weird to the point where you think people just don't get what you're trying to do.
I think you can, but as long as you connect it with like context and stuff, then I think it's better. Like, obviously we do a lot of weird stuff, but we always try to like ground it around something. Obviously, if something comes out of left field, we often don't do it, just because we think that people won't understand, it won't gel. I have seen like YouTube videos where they're honestly just like, they're in a room with like a chair, and they're just like dancing like this.
I don't go that weird.
But I mean, like, because a lot of people will be like, that's hilarious. Like a Star Wars kid who's just like spinning a stick, and obviously that's pretty weird. But people are just like, you know, it's funny. So it's a very fine line, I think, and it's also about delivery. Oftentimes, the best weird videos are ones that aren't supposed to be weird, unfortunately. So my advice would be just try not to be weird. Try not to be weird, but try to have like a reason behind what you're doing. Because as long as you have a reason, then people can't say it's random.
An example would be like one of the sketches I did was some guy is at home and somebody just phones completely out of the blue, like this really aggressive bloke insisting that this guy owes him money. And it's like a really tiny amount of money as well. Yeah. And I put up this video and like pretty much all the responses were like, I just don't get it. Like I didn't understand what you were trying to do there.
That's also YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, often the comments, especially if you don't have like people who like often comment on your video and like defend your video, some people just go around troll videos. They're just like, oh, this sucks. Like they spend all day doing that. So don't take it too personally. You can put a description in there if you want. However, I mean that doesn't sound too weird to me. That sounds perfectly.
I think it's just a matter of personal preference and people's tastes. So